This video will cover the mission editor. Once the menu is open, the name of the current mission is displayed at the top in the middle here. For this example, I've loaded the large battle test mission that comes with the game. The editor is divided into three menu modes: Events, Ships, Map, Placements, and Briefing. Events Ships is open by default, but you can click on any of the other buttons to switch menu modes. Events Ships lets you add, modify, delete, copy-paste, and insert events, as well as add or delete ships and objects for the mission. The Map Placements menu lets you set waypoints, place ships and objects, and view the environment for the mission. The Briefing menu lets you set up text and voice stages, as well as a 3D preview of the initial conditions of the mission. We'll cover each of these in detail, but we'll get started with the Event Ships menu first. At the top of the menu, you can click on the button next to Mission Specs to open the submenu for selecting the objective, entering a name, and requiring the player to fly a specified ship. Selecting an objective sets some internal parameters for an overall objective that is required to complete the mission. You can further specify certain requirements in event directives, which I'll review shortly. To specify a name for the mission, simply type it in. If you want to require the player to fly a particular ship, you can click the checkbox next to the option to require the ship specified in Index 1 to be flown by the player. The player's ship is marked with a P next to its indicator on the list of ships in the mission. For the Escort or Defend objective, you'll also need to specify which ship or object index you want the player to escort or defend as part of the mission. This way, the game can keep track of the status of that ship or object to determine if it is destroyed, survives, or successfully reaches a specified location to complete the objective. When selecting a ship for the Escort mission type, left-click on the Escort Ship button to select indexes in increasing increments, or right-click to select indexes in decreasing increments. The letter E will appear next to the ID box of any ship you select. When selecting an object for the Defend mission type, left or right-click for the same selection options, and the letter D will appear next to the ID box of any object you select. You can optionally press Enter or click on the X in the upper right corner of the submenu frame when finished to close the menu. The setting for requiring the specified ship for the player is displayed here for reference. The next option is Environment, which lets you specify the environment parameters for the mission. Any applied parameters will be displayed directly on the button, which you can click on to open the submenu. Click on Open Space, Clear All to optionally clear all parameters, or you can click on any you want to apply and checkboxes will be marked for the ones you select. Some environment entities can be added independent of certain ships or objects with the same structure, and will function differently by being static entities during the mission. This menu also lets you select the star system for the mission, which will impact the background, planet, moon, and other environmental factors for the mission. Once you've selected the parameters you want, click on the X to close the menu. The star system selected for the mission is displayed here for reference. The next section of the menu provides a list of all events for the mission. Events are what drive notifications, conditions, and requirements for advancing through the mission. They are listed in sequential order and can be deleted, modified, or copied if you need to change or shuffle them around. Each event will display its sequential number, abbreviated description, and color code on its icon. To select an event for reviewing or editing, simply click on its icon to highlight it. Once selected, the full description of its type, activation requirement, and data will be displayed on the three buttons below the event list. The type defines what the event is, the activation defines what is required for the event to occur, and the data provides the event with parameters required for its type. If I select Event 1, we can see that its type is Show Text Message, which simply describes exactly what the event will do when activated. Event activation shows mission time 000002, which indicates that the event will activate once 2 seconds into the mission is reached, based on the mission clock displayed at the top of the heads-up display in the game. Then the event data shows Begin Battle, which instructs the game to display that message once activated. This is the basic procedure for all events in the mission. You'll specify a type, activation step, and data for each. If we click on Event Type, a menu appears that shows all of the available types we can select along with their color code. We've covered showing a text message, but you can also play a sound file, or for ships and/or objects, apply directives, apply a change in threat level, spawn or jump, or apply damage. You can also advance the waypoint to the next one in sequence. hold an event until a certain condition is met, or win or lose the mission. With the first event displaying a text message at 2 seconds into the mission, Event 2 will immediately apply next, once Event 1 is activated. If we switch to Event 2, we can see that the type will apply a directive at mission time 4 seconds, and a list of all ships that the directive will apply to is displayed here on the right side of the data line. The ship indexes and abbreviated types will align with the list of ships at the bottom section of the menu. We'll cover modifying this data shortly, but for now, let's open the activation menu to review its options. There are 4 ways you can set an activation trigger for an event. Immediate is effectively a pass-through. No time, delay, or location is required to activate an event tagged with immediate. The event will just occur as soon as it is reached in the sequence. Mission time will require the mission clock to reach the specified time before the event will activate. This will also hold the mission from advancing to later events until the time is reached and the event is activated. Use the plus and minus buttons above and below each time value to modify it. Remember to keep mission time dependent events in proper sequential order with increasing timestamp values to avoid missing or stalling any events you might want to apply. The delay option will simply wait for the specified number of seconds before activating. This option is good for events that need to simply wait for a duration before activating without being dependent on a specified mission time. Say, for example, in case a player may take shorter or longer to reach a location or complete a task, and you want the mission to wait for a consistent length of time. Finally, waypoint range requires the player to reach the specified distance to the current waypoint before activating the event. Using these options, you can activate events immediately and in bulk, wait for a specific mission time, wait for a specific duration, or wait until the player reached a required waypoint to activate an event and continue advancing through the mission. Next, we'll open the data menu for events. This is the core of what drives events in the mission, and the menu will adapt to the type you select in the first menu. So for example, with the Show Text Message type, we're presented with an entry line to specify the text to display along with optional color values. Once you've entered the message you want, simply press Enter to apply it to the event, or click on the X to cancel. If I change the event type to Play Sound File, then open the data menu again, we now have the option to specify a sound file to play when this event is activated. Once a sound file is selected, it will usually carry the full folder path to the sound file. This is fine if you plan on loading and playing your mission only on your own system, but if you plan on sharing your mission with others, you will want to remove the full path and specify only the file name, then place the sound file in either the media/missions folder or the media/mission/custom folder along with your mission file, so the mission data can be loaded from any custom location that might apply for other players. The Remove Path button will automatically trim the file name of its full folder path to make this modification easier. If I change the event type to Ship Directive, the data menu will offer a list of the available directives to apply. You can have ships hold their position, fly to the current waypoint, fly to a specified coordinate location, form up with the flight lead in command, attack any hostiles in range, or attack a specified ship. For the coordinate location, clicking on the button in the menu will apply whatever editor coordinates are currently selected in the Map Placements menu, which will be covered later. For attacking a specified ship, left-clicking on the button will select each ship in the mission in increasing increments, while right-clicking will select each ship in decreasing increments. You can see how I can toggle through each ship with those options. To apply any selected directive to one or more ships, we will need to select which ships we want it to apply for. So I'll close this menu and select the next 3 allied ships in the first group, which represents the remainder of Alpha Wing. Brackets will appear around each ship I select. Now I can open the data menu and select the directive I want to apply at this event. For now, I'll simply order them to form up. When I click on that button, you'll see the ships that I selected will appear next to the data line under Ships Objects Following Directive. For ships under your command, your orders during the mission can override automatic event orders applied this way, so automatic orders are best reserved for allied capital ships or hostile ships of any kind, but you can still apply them to any ships if you want an automatic directive application at any point during the mission. When changing the event type to threat level, the data menu will offer the 3 threat levels available. Again, selected ships or objects will have the condition applied when the event is activated, just like the directive option. If I change the event type to spawn jump, the data menu will offer selections for spawn, jump in, and jump away. If you want something to spawn suddenly, as though decloaking or otherwise materializing, select the spawn option. This can also be used behind environmental obstructions to hide their appearance, such as an asteroid or nebula cloud, if desired. If you want to jump something in, select the jump in option, or jump away to have them jump out of range. You can also select the location for where the spawn or jump event will occur. Near player will keep the event within sensor range of the player. At waypoint will apply it at the current waypoint, while at editor coordinates will apply it at the currently selected editor location specified in the map placement menu. At destroyed will apply it at the last ship or object that was destroyed, which can be useful for leaving behind things like an ejection capsule or cargo. Like the directive and threat level options, this will also apply to the selected ships or objects. If I change the event type to damage, the data menu will show various levels of damage I can apply. We can apply anything from complete destruction to light damage, or even restore something to no damage as though repaired. The Advanced Waypoint option will simply advance the current waypoint to the next one in order. This lets you arrange points you want the player to fly through in sequence using a chain of waypoints specified in the Map Placements menu, which will be covered later. Only an activation trigger is needed for this event type, since no data is needed. Event Hold is where you can suspend the mission until a certain condition is met. This is where the mission type mode selection will come into play, as it can add or omit an option in this menu. For most mission type modes, you can set a condition of no hostiles, destroy friendlies, destroy ship object, or ship reaches waypoint. For the destroy hostiles or friendlies condition, you need to specify the number of each threat level to destroy before advancing. For the destroy ship object condition, select the ship or object index you want the player to destroy before advancing. For the ship reaches waypoint condition, select the ship index you want to reach the current waypoint before advancing. For this last option, you can wait until the player reaches a waypoint for continuing by selecting the player's index, or you can select any other ship. But for other ships, be sure to direct them to travel where needed to meet the waypoint requirement. You can require a time limit for the hold event to be completed within by setting a time value with the plus and minus buttons for the minutes and seconds you want to apply. By default, the time limit will be shown on the pilot's HUD, but you can click on the Show Time on HUD button to hide the time. Finally, you can select the next event to advance to if the hold condition is met by left-clicking on the event icon in the list. You can also optionally right-click on an event icon to select an event if the hold condition fails due to the timer running out. This way you can specify branching paths through a mission for both a winning route and a losing route to change conditions in real time as events unfold. The last two event types are win mission and lose mission. For winning, if the sequence of events is completed or you direct a path of events to reach the winning stage, you can specify a text message upon completion along with the next mission file to load for a winning path. Likewise, if a mission is lost, you can specify a text message upon failure along with the next mission file to load on a losing path. This way you can chain missions together to form campaigns and apply them in a branching structure for both winning and losing paths. So for example, if you want persistence of player accomplishments where if they destroy a capital ship in one mission, that ship remains destroyed in the next, you can structure your missions so that such achievements carry on from one mission in a branch to the next. Whereas if they fail to destroy a capital ship, it can remain in an alternate mission branch and must then be contended with again in a future mission. The buttons on the right side of the events list let you add a new event, delete an existing event, insert an event, or copy an event. If you copy an event, new buttons for pasting and replacing will be available that will allow you to paste a copied event at the end of the list or replace an existing event. You can optionally click on Insert Event to split the sequence with a new event in between. Then click on Paste Event to apply the copied event into the newly inserted index. All parameters will then be applied however you place them, so be sure to adjust any timing or location values as may be needed for conditions that may be different at other stages of the mission. The bottom section of the menu shows the ships and objects in the mission, with icons and ID boxes. The 3-digit abbreviated identifiers are displayed under the icons, along with the sequence index in the ID boxes, and all are color-coded to the threat level of each ship or object. Green is friendly, yellow is neutral, and red is hostile. Hold the mouse pointer over an ID box to view the initial directive of any ships. As mentioned earlier, you can select ships and/or objects for editing by simply clicking on their ID boxes. To deselect, click on them again. The Add Ship Object button will let you add a new ship or object to the list. You can use the scroll bar on the right here to view the entire list. You can select the initial threat level here, along with the initial directive below. Once you've selected the initial parameters, if you want to change them, simply click on the ship or object type button you want to add. The new entity will appear in the list displaying the icon, identifier, sequence index, and threat level. The editor will remember the last threat level and directive settings you select to help make adding more ships and objects with the same parameters more efficient. To delete a ship or object, simply highlight one or more you want to delete, then press the delete key. Alternatively, you can right-click on an icon to remove it from the list. If you make a mistake and want to reverse a completed action, you can click on the Undo button here at the top. Redo will apply the last step that was reversed when available. Next, we'll cover editing ships and objects. Let's say I wanted to switch a group of ships to a different type. I can simply select the ships I want to edit, then click on Edit, Selected Ships, Objects. This menu works just like the Add option, but this time I'm editing existing ship and/or object indexes that I have selected. So clicking on Options here will modify those indexes. I'll change the threat level, then the type. And we can see that those changes have now been applied to the ships I selected. This way you can edit ships or objects in groups. Under the Sort Ships capital Objects are options to resort the list with different criteria. Friendly to Hostile will list friendlies first, then hostiles. Hostile to Friendly will do the reverse. Ship to Capital will sort the type from smaller ships as a whole to capital ships and vice versa with capital to ship. These options will generally preserve existing sequences, focusing only on threat or type for adjustments. So if you want to change select groups by sequence or type, it's best to do so with the bulk editing option through the Edit Selected Ships Objects menu. Next, we'll switch over to the Map Placements menu and cover the options there. In this menu, you can also change the mission specs and environment parameters, as both are still available at the top here. The rest of the menu focuses on placing entities, setting waypoints, and viewing the battle area. The ship list is still at the bottom as in the Event Ships menu, but the icons are moved to a map located here in the middle, with arrows pointing to the location that each ship or object is initially placed at the start of the mission. At the top left here is a legend showing the different symbols, along with their colors and what each means. The white X indicates the starting location of the mission. This is where the game will set up initial parameters for the mission, but you are not limited to placing the player or other entities there. The green brackets indicate each waypoint in the mission, with the number appearing in the middle of the map. The blue plus symbol indicates the current editor coordinates. The default starting location is generally at or near 0x, 0y, and 0z, with the initial editor coordinates also placed there. I can move the editor location by simply left-clicking on the map. You can see how the selected coordinate location is updated and displayed here on the right side under Editor Coordinates. The distance from the starting location to the selected editor coordinates is displayed here under Start to Edit Distance. Waypoints can be managed with the buttons on the left side here. The current selected waypoint is displayed here, and I can click on the left or right arrow buttons to toggle through each one. Add Waypoint will add a new waypoint for the number in parentheses and place it at the current blue plus editor location. Delete Waypoint will delete the current selected waypoint. Insert Waypoint will apply a new waypoint at the current editor location in between the current selected waypoint. So if I have selected waypoint 3 and set a new editor location, then click on Insert Waypoint, a new waypoint is created and placed in index 3, while the previous waypoint 3 now becomes waypoint 4. Set Waypoint at plus will move the current selected waypoint to the editor location. And finally, Set at Ship Object will dynamically set the current waypoint at the selected ship or object location, wherever it may be at the time the waypoint is activated. The phrase at ship will appear below waypoint position here to indicate this waypoint's location will be set to a ship or object rather than a static location. On the right side of the menu below the mission start coordinates are placement options. These let you quickly arrange ships or objects individually or collectively. For example, if I select several ships and then click on Set at Start, the ships I selected are placed directly on the start location. You won't want to leave any ships or objects like this, as they would appear right on top of each other, but this lets you quickly set an initial location that you can then use spacing buttons for. Notice how the editor coordinate location is also placed at the start. I can now click on the Set in Formation button here to align the selected ships for close formation around the initial placement point. Or if I want to space them out farther apart from each other, I can click on the Space 1000 meters button here. The Set at CARSTN button will place the selected ships or objects at the mission's primary carrier or station. The Set at Waypoint button will place the selected ships or objects at the current selected waypoint. For any of these options, the spacing buttons can be used to quickly arrange the group around the selected placement point. But you can also select ships and objects individually and place them on their own manually. Anytime you select one or more ships, the editor location will stay linked, and you can use the arrow buttons here at the bottom to move the editor location along with any linked ships around in 500-meter intervals. Hold the Alt key to adjust the Y coordinate location vertically with the up and down arrow buttons. Hold the left Shift key to adjust any coordinate value in 50-meter intervals for finer precision. If you're moving a group of ships or objects, once you've moved them where you want them, you can again use the spacing buttons to arrange the group. The Set Start to Player button will place the start location to the player's ship. You usually want to just leave the starting location near the original default point, but you can move it if you want to with this option. The Zoom Pan 4x button here will enlarge the map to 4x level while you hold the mouse button. The coordinate highlighted by the brackets in the middle will be displayed in the upper left corner of the screen. The Zoom Pan 8x button will enlarge the map to 8x for an even closer view. And finally, the 3D View button will place you in a computer-generated scene of the battle area with full 3D to move around and view the ships and objects in their initial positions, as well as waypoints and any applicable environmental conditions. Simply release the mouse button in any zoom or view mode to return to the editor menu. Lastly, we'll cover the briefing menu mode. Like the other two modes, mission specs and environment parameters are still accessible at the top. The list of events is also displayed here for reference, while options for creating and modifying briefing stages are below. For this test mission, one briefing stage has been created that includes the text lines shown here. You can see the 1/1 value on the line here next to briefing stages, which indicates we have selected stage 1 of 1. If I click on this button, a menu opens that shows a list of stages by number. Since only one stage exists, the number 1 is shown by itself at the top. I can add more stages by clicking on any of the other numbers in the list, with Add after it. So for example, if I want to add 2 more indexes for a total of 3, I would click on the 3 button here. The menu will default to the last index created, so the button now shows 3/3. I can then go back to index 1 through the same stage menu, or if I go back to 3, I can also return to stage 1 with the left and right arrow buttons next to the text lines here by toggling back to stage 1. So that's how you can create new briefing stages. The buttons on the right will let you delete, insert a new blank stage, or copy an indicated stage. If I copy a stage, I can paste it in a new index, then delete or otherwise modify the original index. I'll delete the other 2 stages I created earlier. For each stage, you can load and play an audio file with this option here. Like the Events Ship's Play Sound File option, you can specify the audio file to play, while also optionally removing the folder path for general loading, if you want to share your mission with others. The next option lets you load and display an image file at the top of the briefing menu for this stage. Like any event sound files, it's best to keep any briefing media files in the same folder as your mission file for easier loading and management. The Waypoints for Stage menu lets you select a starting waypoint and specify a presentation mode in the 3D rendering of the battle area for the briefing stage. You can select which waypoint you want the presentation to start at by clicking on the buttons here with 0 as the starting position of the mission. or you can change the mode first with the buttons at the bottom, then select the waypoint. The Fly Path option will fly the route from the starting waypoint you select to the next waypoint during the briefing stage. The Orbit option will pan around the starting waypoint you select. The Hold option will simply hold the camera's viewpoint at the selected starting waypoint. The text content for Stage section is where you can enter text lines for each stage. Simply click on any line to activate the edit mode. After applying the text lines you want, press Enter to apply them. If you make a mistake or don't want to apply the lines, you can optionally click on the X to close the menu and restore the last entered text lines. If you type up a mission script in some other program, you can use Ctrl-V to paste text into this entry menu. Just be sure to stay within the 10 available lines. If you want to clear out a stage's text lines entirely, you can click on the Delete Briefing Text button here. You can apply up to 9 stages for each mission briefing. Be sure to save your progress often, and you may want to save different versions of your mission files as you develop a campaign in case you want to restore original settings and/or reuse some elements across multiple missions. That covers the mission editor. Visit the link in the description for the game's instructions for more information.